When I teach this in a room with people in front of me, what I like to do after that first meditation is just to get everybody to put up their hand who got distracted. So I'll sort of say, okay, everybody who got distracted, please raise your hand. And everybody, of course, 100% of people raise their hands because everybody gets distracted. And the thing is that you might think that your mind is particularly distracted. And that's only because you can't see inside everybody else's mind. So if you could see inside everybody else's mind, you'd realize your mind's probably pretty much exactly the same as everybody else's. Sometimes it focuses, but a lot of times it doesn't, and it just goes wherever it goes in different places. What I hope you noticed is I hope you did notice that your mind kicks in very quickly and it wants to drag you away somewhere. That's what the mind does. It's a mind. Minds think. It's what they do. And this is really the first major insight of meditation practice, is that your mind is not as under your control as you think it is. I think most of us sort of have a sense of like, this is my mind and I know what it does and it's under my control. And what we learn very, very quickly, even in that first 3-minute meditation, is you learn that your mind is not as under your control as you think it is. You might say to your mind, okay, I'm going to focus on the breathing. And then it's like, okay, breathing. Okay, I got it. 1 breath in and 1 breath out. Oh, I got this breathing thing. I can do this meditation. I got this. Look, I'm completely focused. I wonder, how is this working? Am I feeling relaxed? I thought I was supposed to feel relaxed. I don't feel relaxed yet. Oh, I'm thinking. Or wherever your mind went. And that's what happens, is the mind wanders. There's a meditation teacher called Jack Kornfield who describes the mind as being like a 3-month golden retriever. He says, and we sort of say to our mind, like the golden retriever, we say, sit, sit, and maybe it sits for a second and then it runs off. And we come bring it back and we say, sit, and almost immediately it runs off. And sometimes it does fun things and funny things, and sometimes it does naughty things. And our mind is much the same as that. And most of our lives, we wander around without necessarily realizing that our mind is not really under our control. It's going wherever it goes, and we are following. And that's sort of one of the things we're starting to learn in meditation, is to start to notice where your mind goes from moment to moment. So we place our attention on the breathing, and then it goes somewhere. We place our attention on the breathing, and then the mind goes somewhere. And we tend to follow wherever it goes. Sometimes it goes to good places, sometimes it goes to bad places, sometimes it's helpful ideas, sometimes it's unhelpful ideas, but wherever it goes, we tend to follow. There's another meditation teacher who tells a story I love. His name is Nat Horn, and he tells this story about a guy walking along a road. And as he's walking along, he sees another guy galloping towards him on a horse. And he clearly looks as though he's going somewhere urgent, and he yells out at the guy on the horse, where are you going? The guy on the horse looks kind of confused and says, why would you ask me? Ask the horse. And this is kind of our relationship with our mind. We go where it goes. We might think we are directing our mind, but most of the time that's not what's happening. It goes where it goes, and we follow. And so that's really the first insight of meditation. So please don't judge yourself because your mind wanders. It's going to. And you're going to follow it, just like everybody else does. But then there is this critical moment in meditation. The critical moment in meditation is when you notice that your mind went somewhere. So there you are, you're on your breath, and then your mind goes and you follow it and you start thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about. Food, the world, your to-do list, trying to solve a problem, whatever it is, a conversation you had earlier with somebody, an email that you got a reply, wherever your mind goes, it goes, and you follow, and that's fine. But then there's a moment where you go, I was supposed to be focusing on my mind, on my breathing, and I've gone somewhere else. That's the critical moment. In that moment, you are developing awareness of your own mind. So most of the time, you're just kind of on board with your mind. Whatever it's thinking, you're thinking. But in this moment, there's this critical moment where you and your thoughts are slightly separated, because there's a part of you that is aware of your own thoughts. That's kind of critical. Most of the time we sort of think we are our mind. I have a mind, I am my mind. My mind is who I am. That's my personality, it's my beliefs, it's my opinions, it's how I think, it does all these great things for me. I am my mind. And of course, you are, sort of. But there's clearly also a part of you that can be aware of your own mind. And that's kind of a beautiful little thing that we're going to develop throughout this program. So how do we do this? Well, literally we sit and we do nothing. You sit and you breathe and you do nothing. You sit and you notice your breathing. You place your attention very gently on your breathing. And then you see what happens next. Placing your attention on the breathing, and then you see what happens next. And what happens next is you have thoughts, or you get irritated, or you get frustrated, or you get bored, or you get an itch, or you suddenly remember something you've got to do, and you go, oh, I've got to stop this meditating thing. I've got to go and fix that thing that I've got to go and do. So all these things happen, and then we notice what happened. You might say, why? What's so great about this? Well, we'll get into some of the why in a little bit. But for now, please trust me that all we're doing here is nothing. We're going to sit. We're going to breathe. We're going to pay attention to the breathing, just resting our attention on the sensation of the air. And then notice what happens next. If it helps, there's a quote by Yogi Berra I love. And I'm just going to read it just to make sure I get it right. Yeah, Yogi Berra allegedly said, I don't know if he really said, but it's a great Yogi Berra type saying. And he says, you can observe a lot by just watching. You can observe a lot by just watching. It sounds obvious, and of course, being classically Yogi Berra, it's incredibly profound too. And that's all we're doing really in this type of meditation. We're just going to observe. And we're going to get a lot out of that.